Imagine winning not just once, not just twice, but thousands of times. Without struggle, without stress, without even breaking a sweat. What if life's biggest victories didn't require you to chase them, but instead flowed naturally to you? Today, I'm going to share the secret behind manifesting success so effortlessly that it becomes your new normal. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could completely rewrite the way you look at winning and abundance forever. Manifest 4,000 wins without even trying, my friends. Imagine for just a moment what if life didn't have to be a constant uphill climb. What if victories, yes, death and thousands of them, could come to you not by sweat, not by endless struggle, but by expectancy, belief, and alignment. Too often, we are taught that success must be earned through hardship alone, that every gain requires pain. Yet this is not a fantasy or a fairy tale. There are people who've been tormented. It is a principle as old as time itself, the principle that what you expect, you attract. Think about it true, the sun doesn't strain to rise, it simply fulfills its purpose. The river doesn't force its flow, it follows its natural course. Nature shows us that alignment creates movement without struggle. And you too. They were designed not to live in resistance, but in flow. When you step into alignment, life begins to deliver victories in ways you could never orchestrate through effort alone. There are people minted. There was once a woman named Helene Hadsell who entered contests and won over 4,000 times. Many thought she must have been the luckiest woman alive. There are people who've been tormented. Luck had nothing to do with it to win. She didn't merely hold in. She expected to win. She set her mind with such certainty that reality conformed to her belief. Her story reminds us that life mirrors the conviction we carry inside. And this echoes the timeless wisdom. There are people who've been tormented. Your word is your wand. Every thought you nurture and every word you release becomes a seed. Plant seeds of victory, and you will harvest success. Plant seeds of doubt. Experiment and struggle will surely follow. The universe does not respond to frantic effort. It responds to alignment. The moment you shift from saying, "I'll try," to declaring, you step into the effortless zone of manifestation. See yourself as already victorious. Speak as though the prize is already yours. There are people who've been tormented. Walk as though abundance surrounds you and watch reality bend to your conviction. Gratitude becomes your multiplier, for when you are thankful for even the smallest win. There are people minted. You're at countless more. Gratitude declares who declare already have enough, and that declaration opens the door to more than enough. There are people meant to be as if your manifestation is already here, live from the places of certainty, and certainty will return to you. There are people been tormented. Life was never meant to be a battlefield of exhaustion. It was meant to be a dance with abundance. And when you align with this truth, you won't just win once. There are being tormented, you'll win of thousands and beyond. So claim it, align with it, and watch the impossible become inevitable. The power of expectancy is one of the greatest forces shaping our lives, yet it is often overlooked. Success, contrary to what most people believe, is not always about straining, pushing, or exhausting ourselves in endless struggle. It is not about constantly climbing uphill, drenched in sweat and burdened by effort. True success is about expectancy, the inner knowing that good will flow to you as naturally and effortlessly as the sunrise graces the horizon each morning. You don't will the sun to rise, you don't beg it, and you don't question whether it will show up. You simply expect it, and that expectation brings peace. In the same way, when you cultivate expectancy in your life, you unlock the channel through which blessings, opportunities, and victories can flow with ease. Expectation is more than mere hope. Hope often carries with it an undertone of uncertainty. I hope this works out still leaves space for doubt. Expectation, however, is different. Expectation is a conviction, a quiet yet unshakable certainty that what you desire is already on its way. It does not ask if the good will arrive. It only asks when. And this subtle shift in energy changes everything, because expectancy aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you wish to create. Think of a gardener planting seeds. The gardener doesn't dig into the soil each morning to check if the roots are forming. He doesn't beg the earth to grow what was already planted. He simply waters, nurtures, and waits with expectancy, knowing that nature will do its work. So it is with success. You must plant the seed of belief, nurture it with faith and gratitude, and then expect it to blossom at the appointed time. When you live in expectancy, you stop chasing opportunities with desperation. Instead, you become a magnet for them. Expectancy shifts your posture, your tone, even the way you carry yourself. It infuses your words with confidence, and your decisions with clarity. It teaches you to trust the unseen, to rest in the process rather than panic about the outcome. Just as the sunrise cannot be rushed yet cannot be stopped, your victories too arrive when you align with certainty. This is the power of expectancy, the recognition that life responds not to strain, but to belief. And when you hold that belief with unwavering confidence, success flows to you naturally, steadily, and abundantly, just as day follows night without effort. The law of assumption and belief is one of the most transformative principles you can ever embrace, because it teaches us that life is not determined by what we wish for, but by what we assume to be true. Every single one of us is walking through life not according to external circumstances, but according to the inner blueprint we carry in our minds. What you assume about yourself, about others, and about the world around you becomes the silent command that shapes your reality. If you assume you are unlucky, life will give you evidence to confirm it. If you assume you are favored, doors will open where there were once only walls. Belief is the architect, and assumption is the builder that constructs your lived experience. It is not about wishing, nor about forcing, but about knowing deep within that what you desire already belongs to you. When you assume victory, you carry yourself differently. Your tone changes, your posture shifts, and even the way you walk communicates certainty. People feel it, opportunities are drawn to it, and circumstances bend to accommodate it. The law of assumption is not passive. It is active faith. It is the ability to move through your day with the quiet confidence that the unseen is already arranging itself in your favor. Consider the difference between someone who merely hopes for success and someone who believes it is inevitable. The one who only hopes hesitates, doubts, and second, guesses their every move. But the one who assumes success moves with clarity and conviction, because in their mind, the outcome is already sealed. This difference in inner stance is what makes all the difference in results. Life is a mirror, and it reflects back not just what you want, but what you deeply believe and assume. Every achievement, every breakthrough, begins first as an assumption within the heart and mind. To manifest abundance, you must assume abundance is your natural state. To attract love, you must assume you are already worthy of it. To experience victory, you must assume you are a victor even before the evidence appears. This is the power of belief. Bypasses the need for struggle and plants you firmly in the soil of certainty, where manifestation grows naturally. When you embody the law of assumption, you no longer chase after success. Instead, success recognizes you, finds you, and flows to you as naturally as light fills a room when you open the window. The shift from effort to alignment is one of the most liberating realizations a person can experience, because it changes the way you pursue success and how you see your journey through life. From an early age, many of us are conditioned to believe that the only way to achieve anything worthwhile is through relentless effort, constant struggle, and tireless pushing against obstacles. We are taught that exhaustion is a badge of honor, and that sacrifice is the only road to accomplishment. But what if the truth is far gentler, yet infinitely more powerful? What if true winning doesn't come from frantic striving, but from aligning thought, emotion, and spirit with the frequency of success? Alignment is the state where your inner world and outer actions are in harmony. When your beliefs support your desires, when your thoughts match your intentions, and when your emotions vibrate with the reality you wish to create, life unfolds in a way that feels almost effortless. You no longer push against the current, you flow with it. And in that flow, opportunities arise, doors open, and the right people appear at the right time. What once felt like struggle begins to feel like synchronicity. Effort without alignment is like rowing against the tide, exhausting, slow, and discouraging. But alignment transforms effort into ease. It's not that you stop working or stop moving forward, but that your work is now energized, inspired, and guided by clarity rather than desperation. The smallest action taken in alignment often produces greater results than years of struggling in misalignment. When you shift from effort to alignment, you begin to realize that the universe doesn't reward you for how hard you suffer, but for how clearly you believe and embody your desires. This shift calls for trust. Trust that you are supported, trust that your desires are valid, and trust that the path will unfold as you stay centered in faith. It means letting go of the compulsion to force outcomes, and instead embracing the confidence that outcomes are already moving toward you. Living in alignment is not passive. It is powerful. It empowers you to act from certainty instead of fear, to move with flow instead of friction, and to experience the victories instead of burnout. The moment you embrace this shift, life stops being a battlefield of struggle and becomes a dance of alignment, where success arrives not through force but through grace. The secret of Helene Hadsell's wins is not hidden in luck, nor is it buried in chance. It is rooted in a mindset so powerful that it rewrote the rules of what most people consider possible. Helene Hadsell was known as the contest queen, a woman who entered competitions and, astonishingly, won over 4,000 times. To outsiders, her success seemed almost magical, as if fortune simply favored her above everyone else. But when you look closely, you see that her secret was not luck. It was certainty. She didn't just hope to win, she expected to win. That expectation became her greatest advantage, a force stronger than any odds stacked against her. Helene understood that entering a contest wasn't about chance. It was about alignment of mind and spirit. When she filled out an entry form, she did it with conviction, with a clear mental picture of the prize already being hers. She believed with every fiber of her being that her name was already chosen. And because of that belief, reality had no choice but to match her inner certainty. This was not superstition. It was the power of expectation in action. She lived by the principle that the outer world is only a mirror of the inner world, and by controlling her belief, she controlled her results. Most people enter contests with doubt. They think, maybe I'll win, but probably not. That doubt carries energy, and the universe responds to it by withholding the very thing they desire. Helene was different. She erased doubt and replaced it with certainty. Her thoughts, words, and actions all carried the vibration of, "Quit is mine." And that vibration attracted the outcome again and again. Her story teaches us that life itself is a contest, and the winners are not the ones who hope the hardest or struggle the longest, but the ones who expect with certainty. Helene's 4,000 wins are proof that the mind can turn the improbable into the inevitable when aligned with unwavering belief. She demonstrated that success is not random, but repeatable when fueled by conviction. The secret of her wins was not chance. It was her decision to embody certainty so fully that the universe had no option but to comply. And that same secret is available to anyone bold enough to expect their victories before they appear. Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings on the spoken word reveal one of the most profound truths about life. Words are not empty sounds. They are seeds carrying the power of creation. Every phrase we speak, whether whispered in silence or declared with conviction, plants something in the fertile soil of our reality. What we say repeatedly shapes the atmosphere we live in, drawing experiences that mirror the vibrations of our speech. To Florence, the spoken word was not casual. It was sacred. She taught that language is a tool, a wand that directs energy, and when we wield it with intention, we shape destiny itself. Most people speak carelessly, unaware that every negative declaration is a seed that must eventually grow into something tangible. When someone says, "I never win," or "nothing good happens to me," they unknowingly write a script that life faithfully performs. But when words are spoken in faith, with gratitude and confidence, they become commands to the unseen forces that govern outcomes. Florence believed that aligning speech with expectation is one of the most powerful ways to manifest blessings, because words bypass the noise of doubt and set a clear direction for energy to flow. She often reminded her students that words are magnetic. They attract to themselves the very conditions they describe. A person who declares, "I am prosperous," begins to notice opportunities that align with prosperity. Someone who affirms, "I walk in favor," will start to encounter open doors where others only see walls. The spoken word reshapes perception, and perception reshapes reality. This is why she warned against idle words, for even casual negativity can create barriers that block abundance. Her message was simple yet revolutionary. Speak only what you desire to see. Speak life, speak health, speak abundance, speak victory, even before any evidence appears. The tongue, she believed, is like the pen of a skilled writer. It drafts the script of your future. What you speak in faith is already building itself in the unseen, preparing to step into the visible world. Florence's teachings challenge us to listen closely to our own words and to replace complaint with gratitude, fear with faith, and doubt with certainty. When we understand that every word carries weight, we stop speaking from limitation and begin speaking from power. And in doing so, we transform language into the very force that manifests the life we long to live. Resistance is the silent thief of success, and most people don't even realize how much of it they carry within. Resistance shows up as worry, fear, doubt, and constant second-guessing. It is the voice that whispers, "What if it doesn't work?" Or, "What if I'm not enough?" And every time we give in to that voice, we add weight to our journey, turning what could be a smooth flow into a heavy climb. The truth is, manifestation was never designed to be about forcing or fighting. It was always about allowing. Just as a seed doesn't struggle to push itself into a tree, but instead grows naturally with the support of sunlight and water, so too do our desires flourish when we release resistance and live in faith. Faith is the opposite of resistance. Where resistance closes doors, faith opens them. Where resistance blocks the flow, faith allows it to rush in effortlessly. When you trust that what you've asked for is already on its way, you stop wrestling with life. You stop trying to control every outcome. Instead, you rest in the confidence that everything is aligning for your highest good. In that state, opportunities that once seemed far away begin to draw closer, and victories that once felt impossible suddenly appear within reach. Consider how often people sabotage their own manifestations by clinging to resistance. They declare what they want, but then doubt cancels it out. They pray for abundance, yet constantly speak lack. They visualize success but then act from fear. This inner contradiction is resistance, and it keeps blessings from flowing freely. But when you shift into faith, you create a channel where life can deliver with ease. Faith says, I trust even though I cannot yet see. Faith says, it is done, long before any evidence appears. When you live in faith, you move into alignment with the natural rhythm of the universe. You begin to notice signs, synchronicities, and confirmations that you are on the right path. Life starts to feel lighter because you are no longer fighting against it. The difference between those who struggle endlessly and those who manifest effortlessly is not ability. It is their relationship to resistance. One clings to fear, the other releases it. One doubts, the other trusts. And in that release, in that faith, the flow of abundance, opportunity, and success can finally move freely, carrying you toward the life you were always meant to experience. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools available to the human spirit, because it allows you to create in the unseen what you wish to experience in the seen. The mind cannot always distinguish between a vividly imagined event and a real one, and this is why visualization works so effectively. When you see yourself as already victorious, when you paint a clear mental picture of the life you desire, you are sending a message to your subconscious mind and to the universe that this reality is already yours. That image, held with consistency and emotion, becomes the blueprint that reality is compelled to follow. Most people underestimate the power of imagination. They think it is just daydreaming or idle fantasy. But imagination, when directed with intention, is the rehearsal of reality. Athletes use it before games, seeing themselves making the perfect move, hitting the winning shot, or crossing the finish line. Musicians use it before performances, visualizing the notes flowing with precision and ease. Great leaders and creators throughout history have relied on visualization as a silent practice of success. By repeatedly seeing the end result, they condition their minds and bodies to act as though it is already accomplished. Visualization is not about forcing images but about embodying feelings. The more detail you give your imagination, the sounds, the sights, the emotions, the more real it becomes. When you visualize with emotion, your subconscious accepts it as truth and begins to adjust your actions, decisions, and opportunities to align with that truth. Suddenly, you notice doors opening, people showing up, and situations aligning to support what you already saw in your mind. The key is consistency. Just as a seed must be watered daily, so too must your vision be nurtured with regular practice. When you return to your vision again and again, you reinforce the belief that it is inevitable. Over time, the gap between imagination and manifestation closes, and what once seemed like fantasy becomes your reality. Visualization is not wishing. It is becoming. It is stepping into the role of the person you want to be before the evidence arrives. When you walk, speak, and think from that place, life has no choice but to mirror back the image you hold within. By seeing yourself victorious, you make victory a certainty, and reality bends to honor the vision you faithfully maintained. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It is a force that multiplies whatever it touches. When you choose to live in gratitude, you are signaling to the universe that you recognize abundance, even in its smallest form, and by doing so, you open the door for more abundance to flow into your life. Gratitude transforms perception. It turns what you have into enough and what seems ordinary into something extraordinary. It is not about waiting until everything is perfect before you feel thankful. It is about being thankful now, in this very moment, and allowing that energy to expand the blessings around you. Gratitude carries a unique vibration that attracts more of what you appreciate. When you wake up and give thanks for the simple gift of breath, for the roof over your head, or for the opportunities waiting in your day, you are creating an energetic frequency of openness. That frequency draws to you more circumstances, people, and events that match the energy of gratitude. It becomes a cycle. Gratitude invites more to be grateful for. Just as a smile attracts another smile, a grateful heart attracts reasons to remain grateful. Many people withhold gratitude until the big win arrives. They wait for the promotion, the relationship, or the financial breakthrough before they decide to feel thankful. But the paradox is that gratitude must come first. It is the seed that produces the harvest. When you give thanks for the small, you prove that you are ready to handle the greater. Gratitude tells the universe, I already see abundance, and I am ready for more. Without it, even the greatest blessings can pass unnoticed, leaving the heart empty despite external gain. Living with gratitude also shifts the way challenges are perceived. Instead of seeing obstacles as punishments, you begin to see them as teachers. Even in difficulty, you can find something to honor, an opportunity to grow, a lesson to learn, or strength you didn't know you had. This perspective dissolves resistance and allows life to unfold with greater ease. When you practice gratitude daily, you step into a rhythm of abundance. It is not just about receiving more, but about cultivating joy in every moment. Gratitude multiplies blessings, accelerates manifestations, and creates a life where even the smallest details become treasures. It is a practice that turns ordinary days into extraordinary ones and ensures that abundance is never far away. Faith in action is the bridge between what you desire and what you experience. It is not enough to simply believe quietly in your mind. Belief must be embodied, demonstrated, and lived out through your actions. Faith without action is like planting a seed and never watering it. It carries potential but produces nothing. When you act as though your manifestation is already here, you are telling the universe, I am ready, I am aligned, and I trust. That trust creates momentum, and momentum attracts results. Acting in faith does not mean reckless leaps or forced behavior. It means moving in harmony with what you believe. If you are manifesting abundance, faith in action might mean making decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear. If you are manifesting love, it could mean showing up as the version of yourself who is already loved and cherished. When your behavior mirrors your belief, you magnetize the very outcomes you are seeking. Life responds to what you do, not just what you think. Faith in action also requires consistency. Anyone can speak belief once, but true faith is proven in repetition. Continuing to walk as though the blessing is already yours, even when no evidence has yet appeared. This consistency rewires your subconscious mind and convinces it that what you desire is reality. Over time, your energy shifts, your decisions change, and your environment begins to mirror the new belief you have embodied. It is in these moments that faith becomes power. When you move forward without proof, when you act without needing validation, you are demonstrating the highest form of trust. This kind of faith bends circumstances in your favor because it leaves no room for doubt. You become a clear channel for manifestation, unshaken by delay or uncertainty. Consider how many dreams are abandoned because people wait for signs before moving. They wait for resources before starting, for validation before speaking, or for clarity before taking the first step. But faith in action is different. It begins before the evidence arrives. It acts while the soil is still bare, trusting that the harvest is inevitable. Faith in action transforms potential into reality. It is the proof that you believe, the signal that you are ready, and the magnet that draws manifestations into form. When your steps align with your faith, life cannot help but meet you halfway, delivering outcomes that once seemed impossible. Living a life of overflow means stepping into a state where success, joy, and abundance are no longer occasional visitors, but constant companions. It is not about one isolated victory or a fleeting moment of happiness. It is about cultivating a lifestyle where blessings flow steadily and effortlessly. Overflow is the natural result of alignment, gratitude, expectancy, and faith working together. It is living in such a way that you no longer question whether good will come. You simply know that it will, and you trust that there will always be more than enough. In this state, you stop living from survival and start living from expansion, where opportunities, resources, and connections seem to multiply around you. A life of overflow is not about material wealth alone, although abundance often expresses itself financially. It is about richness in every area of life. Relationships filled with love, health that energizes you, peace that steadies you, and purpose that drives you. When you live in overflow, you walk with an awareness that you are connected to a limitless source, and that source never runs dry. You no longer cling to blessings out of fear of losing them, because you know that the supply is infinite. This confidence allows you to give more freely, share more generously, and live more boldly, because you are no longer trapped in scarcity. Overflow begins within. It starts with an inner shift from lack to sufficiency, from fear to trust. When you believe that you are worthy of abundance and expect it as your natural state, life reflects that belief. You attract people and experiences that match the fullness you carry inside. What once felt rare and difficult suddenly becomes natural and consistent. Small wins begin to multiply, leading to larger ones until winning itself becomes part of your identity. The beauty of overflow is that it is contagious. When you live in it, others around you are inspired, encouraged, and uplifted. Your abundance creates ripples that bless not only your life, but the lives of those you touch. This is the difference between just getting by and truly thriving. To live in overflow is to walk in a flow of continuous blessings, to see victories not as rare miracles but as everyday realities. It is to embrace a rhythm of life where the impossible becomes ordinary and where success and joy are not pursued. They pursue you. My friends, the truth is simple. Life doesn't reward the one who struggles the hardest. It rewards the one who aligns, believes, and expects the best. Your wins are already waiting for you, and the moment you step into faith, gratitude, and certainty, they will chase you down.